Good morning. Time for another video. Big goals today. We're going to try and have it to a point where the whole back of the car is finished inside, where the goal is to finish the rear door cards. It's to put the rear parcel shelf in, and it's to put the rear seats in. So I've been playing around with the door cards for a bit, so we'll go over those, and then things that are really faded in the back, they're really sun faded, like the parcel shelf and things, we're going to re-dye. And then we're basically going to clean up the seats because they're a bit dirty, and then pop them in the car, and that'll be the day. So hopefully by the end of the day we can basically the back half of the interior will look normal. But let's get into it. Okay, now I'm no interior expert, especially when it comes to reupholstery. So over the last few days I've just been playing around with the rear door cards, so the ones in the back. Learned a few things, but end result, as you can see here, it's pretty freaking awesome, and I'm like super stoked. It's actually come out unbelievable. So like I said, I learned a few things doing this one. Again, I couldn't ask for it to come out any better. It's awesome. So we're going to do the other side now, and I'll walk you through what I did and how I got to that level. Okay, so first things first, we have the panel that we've stripped down, so all the old vinyl is off it. You will find that it leaves some glue residue on the panel itself. Any imperfections and little bumps on here is going to show up when you put that fresh layer of vinyl on top. So I've got some 100 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand this down so that all these, I mean, if you look at, you can see, I guess, the leftover glue that's on there. We're going to knock down all those high edges, make it really smooth, so when the new vinyl goes on top, it'll be nice and smooth as well, and you won't see little bumps. So first step is going to be to sand this guy down. Okay, now that this is all cleaned up and ready to go, it's all looking nice and smooth now, so we know we're not going to have any issues when we put this vinyl on. The things we're going to need, we need obviously our piece of vinyl that I'll roughly cut to shape. So it's quite big and oversized, but that'll give us some wiggle room when we need to put it out. So there's the vinyl. And then for the adhesive, this is the one I'm going to use, the one in the pot, so not the spray on. I found it's just easier with the vinyl rather than trying to spray it on. This gives you a bit more of a uniform coat, which I found suited the vinyl better, seeing as it's going on a hard surface. And then one brush for the actual door card itself, and then I found it a lot easier using a little plastic spatula to put the adhesive on the vinyl. So the first thing we're going to do, I like doing half and half, and normally choosing the hardest point. On the one I did last time, the hardest point I found was this inside edge. It is seen, so it needs to be perfect. So I'm going to basically start with the bottom half. Primarily we're starting with that edge to make that edge good, and then you can basically blend it across the rest of it. So now all we need to do is we need to cover both this panel and the vinyl in the adhesive, and we're going to let it tack off for about 10 minutes, so it's basically dry to the touch but tacky, and then we know we're good to go. So let's get stuck in. Okay, now they're both sides are really tacky. They're not wet, but you'll feel it stick. Again, quite like it feels dry, but it's just sticky, and that's basically where you want it to be. I've put the unglued side down. You can see it won't stick to it. So only the side this side of the vinyl that has the contact adhesive on it will stick. And we're just going to start from halfway and slowly bring it over. Like I said before, I found that this little corner piece on basically on like the door side of the panel was the hardest to get. So I'm basically going to start on this side, get that all dialed in, do any stretching that I need to do there, and then bring the rest in. It does have this little alcove here, but it's small enough that it's actually easy enough to do. So let's pull this over and slowly get it done. Okay, now that everything's stuck on, this whole layer is good to go and is looking sharp. We need just to trim the edges. So we basically want it to look like this one. Looking at the ones that were on the car, they're actually cut to the very edge on most of the edges. Basically, the only part that shows, like the edges, is this top piece where the B pillar comes down. So the only place we need to bend it over the edges, if you can kind of see this in here, is this piece in here. So that's the only basically edge that isn't covered by a seal. Everywhere else is covered by a seal. So in order for it to fit the best, it just basically needs to be flush against the edge of the door card. So we're also going to blow out our hole in the middle here so that the insert fits in, and then she's basically done and ready for the insert. Okay, next part of the process is the insert. So you can see these ones are notorious for fouling. I don't think I've seen an E36, well, at least with a fabric insert like I had, that it wasn't like you could pull the insert basically off the, you could pull the fabric off the insert itself. It's just super common, and when you actually pull the fabric off, the foam is just, it's just rank. It is like just powdery, goes everywhere, it's horrible. So yeah, we've cleaned this one up. This one's all smooth now. And yeah, the M Rain fabric I picked up, I'm a massive fan. It's super cool and it's gonna look awesome. In the other one that is mint now that you saw, a couple of trial and errors. I had to redo it. Basically this fabric came foam backed. Tried it with the foam and I couldn't get it to work that well. I could never, because the foam was so thick, I couldn't manipulate it enough, and I would get lines and it would be wavy and it just wasn't that good. So I hummed and ahed about it, and I was like, what if I just ripped the backing fabric off? That's what I did, to a point where it's like it is now. There's no foam on the back of the fabric, and it turned out mint. It was way easy to work with. I didn't have any issues, and absolutely no complaints. So that's what we're going to go with. This is going to be basically the same process as the vinyl on the door card itself, except I found that using the spray adhesive, contact adhesive, was easier in this part of the process. So no secret. Well, the one sort of tip that I did find is that this piece in here, so the deepest part of the insert, was the hardest to do without creating any lines or ripples. So I found it easiest to do that bit first and then work it out from there, and you shouldn't have any problems. But yeah, let's finish this last piece, and then we can stick these inserts into the door cards, and then they're done. Yeah, boy. Right, okay, now that those door cards are done, next up we're going to move on to dyeing all the faded trim in the back. So first thing we're going to do is, if you see the rear parcel tray here, you can see how it is super faded. I mean, these are the areas that must have been covered and didn't hit sun versus the rest of it, which is almost white, like it's in pretty rough shape. So I've given us a clean. Now it's time to get out the dye and we'll make this look as good as new. Okay, final part of the day. Give these seats a good clean with P&S Express Interior Cleaner. They should come up mint. Then it's time to fire everything in the car. Okay, the back seat is done. Everything's in. This is wicked. I had a camera issue when putting all this back together, but it was actually pretty self-explanatory. We put the parcel tray in, the door cards in, then the seats, and man, this is, just, it's coming together. It's super coming together, which is awesome. Really stoked with how this is coming on. I mean, looking at the headliner, sunroof, now the leather back seats, obviously the old faded leather seats were in here before. These are mint. Door card is now not white, it's black. All the seals are good. Yeah, this is coming together awesomely. Next up in the next video, I've just got to go tomorrow and pick up some carpet. So I'll get the carpet done, and then once the carpet's in, we can put the rest of the dash together, center console and dash together, and we're in great shape. So the car's coming along. Hey, maybe we might be finished before Christmas, who knows. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video, and yeah, we'll see you hopefully next video. This car will be, at least the interior will be finished. So stay tuned and we'll see you then.